All right, good morning, everyone. If you haven't taken a seat, please take a seat. We're going to open with a short video, a girls flag football highlight video from Illinois, and then we are going to have opening remarks from the Chicago Bears president and CEO, Kevin Warren. So enjoy.
It's a celebration. I didn't think we were gonna do it this quickly. I'll be honest, I'm kind of thrilled. Getting that announcement is a relief in some way and exciting, being recognized as a real sport, even though we know it has been real.
We should all feel and all celebrate it. Every girl who got to step on the field this year, they were part of the reason why this has happened.
It's really amazing that girls flag football is now an IHSA sanctioned sport, and it's a really big deal for all the girls coming after me as a senior.
It's gonna push us even harder.
It's a breath of fresh air for something that women have been fighting for in other states as well. And thankfully, this has happened in 2 years, which is quite fast. We went from a small amount of teams to over 100, and even the refereeing population grew significantly, which means that people are supporting who can't even play the sport.
I won't say we've reached the top yet, but we're getting close. We're getting close. And it's organizations like the Chicago Bears that are advocating for women in sports.
Good morning and welcome to Hallis Hall. It truly is a pleasure to see everyone here today. This is a very, very special, it's a very, very emotional day to stand before you. Anytime you get an opportunity to make history is incredibly special. This is long overdue, but the time is now, and it's not important for us to look back, but to really look forward and to figure out what we can do to make sure that we recognize that this is just the beginning of girls flag football in the state of Illinois, and to really continually come together of all our backgrounds, all of our talent, men, women, that we can come together to continue to empower these young, talented women. One of the first things I want to do is to recognize a couple individuals. There's so many people here who've made the time to come here today, but one of our guests is the Mayor of Arlington Heights. Mayor Hayes, will you please stand? And then we have Senator Christina Castro, please stand. But first and foremost, I want to just thank and recognize the Hallis family and the McCaskey family. I know we have individuals here, Pat and Brian and George, just for their continued leadership, their continued support of doing the right thing for the right reasons at the right time. And I'm just so grateful to be able to work with them on a daily basis to do the things that need to be done to make sure that people recognize that high school girls flag football is critically important, not only to these young women, and I would say even to the young men, to teach them that this is an inclusive world. It's important to the National Football League, and it's really important to the Chicago Bears. There are a couple other individuals here who have been trailblazers in this area. And she's part of our family. She's done so much. Probably don't even need to introduce her, but Juliana, I'm gonna ask for you to stand up and for us to give you a round of applause to thank you for everything you've done. Thank you. And then Gustavo from our organization. I had an opportunity to meet with every single employee when I came here. And even before he talked about what he did on a daily basis, right behind his family, the number one thing that he wanted to articulate is his passion and his love and his admiration for girls flag football. And he told me in that meeting that we needed to do whatever we possibly could do to make sure that this became a sanctioned sport in the state of Illinois. And Gustavo, I just want to thank you for your commitment to excellence, your diligence. Every time I walk by your work area, I look and girls flag football was on the top of my mind. So I'd ask for you to stand, please. And to our sponsors, Buffalo Wild Wings, Gatorade, Nike, Visa. There's so many people who've really leaned into this initiative. I know this has been in the works for a couple years, but again, it was a priority for us to make sure that we leaned into this process. And I know how powerfully important this is for us to come together. You know, fortunately, I was raised by a strong mom and two strong sisters. And now I live in the house with a strong wife and a strong daughter who are very opinionated, which I appreciate. But I oftentimes think about the missed opportunities of all the talented women who have lived, who were great athletes, who loved the game of football, who would have been great flag football players. And that's why I'm so grateful that now this is recognized as an Olympic sport. And I think we have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that we pay this forward, that we make sure that we honor not only the young, talented women who will go on to get college scholarships, who will become Olympians, who will become CEOs of organizations, who will become owners of organizations. So we owe it to them to build this relationship in a very powerful manner, in a manner that's inclusive, in a manner that's supportive. And not only do we owe it to the future, we owe it to the past of all the young women, the young girls who wanted to participate in this game, to compete for a state high school championship, to go on and play in college, to go on and play in the Olympics. But now is the time for us to do it, for us to do it the right way, for us to set the tone. And I know what athletics can do to change the lives of both young men and young women, but especially young women, from a confidence standpoint, from a teamwork standpoint, all the things you get to learn, camaraderie, hard work, toughness, diligence, discipline, integrity, belief. So again, on behalf of the Hallis family, the McCaskey family, the Chicago Bears, the National Football League, and every player, coach, and staff member who has been associated with the Chicago Bears, one, we want to say thank you to the vision, to the hard work, to everyone who leaned into this opportunity, but we also want to say thank you for everything that you've done, and you have our word that as we go forward as an organization, this will be one of the important cornerstones for us to carry forward. So it is very special to stand here before you. I'm excited about today, but this is just the beginning of greatness, and I think we'll look back over this time period and say, and ironically, on Valentine's Day, we'll remember Valentine's Day every single year going forward, that this is the day that girls flag football became a sanctioned sport in the state of Illinois, and all the hard work that the IHSA has put into it, the Chicago Public Schools, but all those young girls who sacrificed, who got up early, who stayed late, who got their homework done, who had big dreams. And I just want to encourage them, this is the first of days that I want you to remember that dreams do come true, and it's now our responsibility to carry it forward and provide a mechanism and a support system that we can show the world that dreams do come true and that football does matter. So with that, I'd like to invite a young man to the stage here who's had such an incredible impact on what's going here, and that's our executive director for the IHSA, Mr. Craig Anderson.
Well, as a lifelong Bears fan, this is pretty humbling. I'm ecstatic about the number of folks that are here joining us today, and obviously incredibly excited about why we're here today. Again, I'm Craig Anderson. I'm the executive director of the Illinois High School Association. We appreciate you all being here again. We especially need to thank the Chicago Bears organization, President Kevin Warren, for being such gracious hosts to us today. As Kevin just alluded to, and in fact, I think he generally announced it, today is historic. It's a historic occasion as we officially announce that we, IHSA, and girls flag football has been adopted as an official IHSA sport, and we will debut the first IHSA state series during the fall of 2024. Let's celebrate that. The girls flag football players and coaches who are here in attendance today, and we thank all of you who have come to participate in this event. They are the stars, and they deserve the recognition, and I hope while they won't get a chance at the mic that the media that are here will take some time and spend some time with them. But I also feel, I want to be brief, but I want to feel compelled to use this platform kind of like Kevin did to publicly recognize some of the key contributors to help bring us to this opportunity to get us to the proverbial goal line and into recognition of girls flag football as an IHSA sport. So as I introduce the folks, if you would please stand and be recognized, as not all of them will have the opportunity again to speak to you this morning, but all of them have been critical to the steps to get us to this point today. I'd like to start by recognizing 12 high school principals and athletic directors who make up the IHSA Board of Directors, and we have a few of them here, not all of them, so I'm going to introduce those obviously that are in attendance and then bring recognition to a couple others. As many of you know, the process of us adopting girls flag football is key to our Board of Directors. They do have the ultimate say in determining that we're going to add girls flag football as an IHSA sport. And to each and every one of them, they never hesitated in seeing the benefit of this opportunity for the high school student athletes in our state. 3 of our board members are in attendance today. Again, if you'd stand and be recognized as I introduce you. First, let me introduce our board president, Mr. Dan Tolley, who's the principal at Notre Dame College Prep in Niles. Thank you, Dan. Mr. Augie Fontanetta is the athletic director at New Trier High School in Winnetka. Thanks, Augie. And Mr. Tom Shergan is the principal at De La Salle Institute in Chicago. Thank you, Tom. I think it's also important to note that Northwestern alum and former Chicago Bears player Dwayne Bates is a member of our board, as Dwayne currently serves as the athletic director at Glenbard East High School in Lombard. Dwayne had a conflict today and was disappointed he couldn't be here, but he sends everyone his best. I'll also introduce, because she's in the neighborhood of Chicago, Ms. Karen Calloway is the principal at Kenwood High School in Chicago and is a representative of our board of directors. So again, we thank them for our service. Next, I'd like to recognize the Chicago Public Schools and the CPS Athletic Administration. You'll hear from Chicago Public Schools Flag Football Administrator Juliana Zavala, who's already been introduced. You'll hear from her shortly, and she's led the way. Kevin alluded to it very well. She has led the way for girls flag football in Illinois to what we know it to be, increasing the participation under such a very short period of time. But I also want to thank Executive Director of Sports Administration for the Chicago Public Schools, Mr. David Rosengard. Thank you, David. David has been a passionate advocate for girls flag football, and it was with his support and him serving as a liaison to our board of directors that girls flag football participation in Chicago High School has blossomed into this announcement that we're able to make today. Next, I'd like to introduce and recognize Tracy Henry from our IHSA staff. Thank you, Tracy. Tracy will be serving as the IHSA administrator for girls flag football. She has already done tremendous work behind the scenes, including forming an advisory committee and leading several meetings that have helped shape the rules and structure for our state tournament for girls flag football, and she'll be very involved in every aspect of the sport in the coming months and will be serving as the tournament manager at our state finals coming up in October. I also need to thank the Chicago Bear for their efforts in championing girls flag football at the high school level here in Illinois. It's already been mentioned, but Gus Silva has been our main contact in those efforts. He's been tremendous, invited me out to see the jamboree they hosted early this past fall. We know he has a dedicated team that supports him and total organizational support, obviously by the attendance today from the McCaskies and the chairman of the board, George McCaskey. Thank you for your attendance and support. Finally, I want to thank all the high school athletes and coaches who have been in on participating in flag football and helping grow this sport. I hope the media, again, will take some time to engage the students and coaches as their passion, you'll see when you speak to them, continues to grow among them as it relates to girls flag football. Girls flag football has only been on the IHSA's radar as a new potential sport for adoption in only a few years, and will now have a state series in just 8 short months. The IHSA is over 100 years old, and I can tell you that this type of growth for a sport is unprecedented throughout our history. We already have over 100 high school teams committed to playing in the IHSA Girls Flag Football State Series next fall, which will culminate with the inaugural state finals on October 11th and 12th. Please put that in your calendar. A growing list of over 40 schools have also committed to starting programs in 2025, and we have no idea where the growth will end. We think this will multiply year after year after year. With the girls football or flag football in the fold now, the IHSA is proud to now offer 40 sports and activities that over 400,000 Illinois high school students will participate in during the upcoming school year. As a former high school football coach myself, a father of 3, I know firsthand the impact that sports programs have on our young people. They provide students mentorship from their coaches, help them develop lifelong friendships, expose them to new and diverse situations, and instill life lessons that help shape them into better citizens after high school, which is really our mission as we offer different types of programming for our students. We are excited that girls flag football will now be part of furthering the IHSA's mission and proud to partner with so many outstanding individuals and organizations in reaching this point. I thank you all again who have supported the growth to bring us to this celebratory day. I cannot be more proud to stand in front of you and be able to make this announcement. And now, please help me welcome to the podium our Chicago Public Schools Flag School Administrator and the one who has led us to this very point, Miss Juliana Savala. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And, you know, this is exciting, and I'm so thrilled to be here. This is a historic moment, really, for all the ladies here as well. You can all see the smiling faces. This is really a history for women in sports. And I want to start off, and I know we all said many thank yous to you guys, but really from the bottom of all of our hearts, we all know your hard work, and I want to thank you for all the work that you've done. This is your vision. You came to me in 2019, and you said, I want to start girls flag football in the city of Chicago, and then I want to expand it into Illinois and we did that, right? We wanted to start in 2020, but we all know what happened in 2020. And we started in 2021 with 21 teams. I sent out a survey to all the CPS athletic directors with the support of, David Rosengard is here and Mickey Pruitt. I just want to say, give a shout out to Mickey. He's a former Chicago Bears as well. And when I came to yes, thank you. Thank you. And I told them, I said, we want football for girls flag, and he said he did not say no. And Gus and I, we've talked about it. We work in two great organizations that gave us a pathway to really do this and kind of take the lead. So thank you for trusting us, and thank you for believing in us. So yes, I sent out this survey, and Gus and I were supposed to do a pilot program with 6 to 8 schools. And when I sent the pilot program, I said, hey, in the next 3 days, athletic directors, please let me know who's in. And I looked at the response after 3 days, and it was 21 schools. And I said, okay, we have a good problem here. And I called Gus. I'm like, Gus, we're starting with 21. And he said, let's do it. He did not hesitate. And so my bosses didn't too. So that was good because I needed funding. But with that being said, I want to thank everyone that was a part of this. The Chicago Bears, thank you for everything you've done. You've literally been our champions. You've been here since the beginning. And I can't tell you how many girls here, this is not new to them coming to Hallis Hall. They've been here many, many times. It's literally almost home to them. So thank you for giving us the opportunity for that. And I want to thank the Chicago Bears. Marge, I saw you here today. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity and the generosity. Truly, you've helped. Thank you. To CPS for giving me and everyone the opportunity to start the inaugural league here in Chicago and expand it. And that's a big thank you to CPS. And then also NFL Flag, USA Football, all the league commissioners, all the coaches, and most importantly, all the girls that participated in this, because you truly gave the courage, the vulnerability to come out and try a new sport. And to that, a huge, huge thank you. When Gus and I started this, we didn't know where this was going. All we knew is we wanted this to be a sanctioned sport. And here we are today in this historic moment. Just want to say we can't believe it, but we did it. One of the things is girls flag football is very inclusive. Anyone can play the sport, and it's very welcoming. And the girls have the opportunity to do whatever they want, and that's what they have, right? Like, they're literally the trailblazers of this sport. Now they're walking the hallways with their head up, and now they know that they don't have to just play powder puff once a year, right? Now they have a league of their own. Now they know that they walk around those hallways and people can say, I play football. I also know how to run some plays, right? So that's really exciting to see that the girls have that opportunity to say that. And I can't tell you how many women that I've spoken to have come up to me and say, Juliana, I wish girls flag football was there when I played in high school. And I tell them, I do too. I respond and say, I wish we did too. But you can still help, is what I tell them. You can become a coach. You can become a referee. You can help in the sideline. We need a lot of female mentors. You can still support in that way. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here, is grow women's flag football mentors, referees, and everything that we're doing here as well. I also want to say that the success that we've seen on the field has been tremendous, but everything that is out of the field is exactly what I'm really proud of, and Gustavo and all the coaches can say the growth of what this sport has provided girls, the confidence, the self-esteem, everything that you see. We started the Jamboree in year 1, right? I was nervous. You can hear the excitement and the nerves in the girls. And some of the girls, it was the first time wearing a mouthpiece. They had no idea that they had to put it in hot water and mold it to your teeth, right? So there are some girls that had their gums that were, coming to the trainers, they're bleeding. I'm like, oh, honey, you have to put it in hot water first, But then you look at year 3 and you see these girls and they're just fearless. Like, I didn't want to get close to them. They're running plays. They're just confident and building each other up. And you totally saw a 180 in these girls. And, I got emotional that day because it was just something that I couldn't believe was going to happen, And I'm really happy about that and the confidence that it's given the girls. And to say the last thing is, thank you again, Chicago Bears, IHSA, CPS, everyone, for helping, all the sponsors that led us to this point. And one of the things that, I want to say is the sanctioning of this sport reminds everyone that we as females in the world of sports, we do belong. And to everyone here, the best is yet to come, right? This is only the beginning. And to everyone here around that has been a part of this that maybe I forgot to mention, I have one last thing to say, is we did it. We did it, everyone. Thank you. Thank you again.
Juliana, Craig, Gustavo, if you guys want to come up here, we want to open it up for questions for anybody. So I want you guys to step up here. And Jarvis and Charlie, I think from our PR staff, have some wireless mics if anybody has any questions.
Hey guys, Annie Constable from the Chicago Sun-Times. You guys have talked kind of a little bit here and there about the work that went into making this a sanctioned sport. Can you give us a little bit more detail on the process of actually getting this sport sanctioned in Illinois?
Yeah, I can speak to that. I mentioned the advisory committee that we formed. We worked with those that were already connected. We started a little over a year ago, assigned an advisory committee, which representatives of our advisory committee is always coaches, administrators that are very engaged. Juliana's been a part of that just because of her role here in Chicago. And they just hammered out the details, the rules, and got us to a point, along with the number of schools that determined that they were going to have flag football playing teams. And for our threshold, we have to have at least approximately 80 schools engaging and having a team. And that's the threshold that we have to have in order for our board to consider adopting it as a sport. So those combination of things, the hard work of the advisory committee, putting together some structure to what we could present to the board as what our state tournament series will look like, really led the board to making the final decision to sanction it, and then obviously to now be conducting a state series in October.
And just, sorry, one quick follow-up. What other states have you talked to, any individuals across the country that you've gotten advice from on again, making this a sanctioned sport? Any states that you feel have led the way?
Yeah, Georgia is one that comes to mind. Their executive director, they've had it for a couple of years, and then there's a number of other NFL states that have. But Georgia was the key one to listen and kind of talk through how they navigated getting it adopted in their state. Yeah.
Patrick Fazio with NBC5 Chicago. Just curious, are there many opportunities for the girls to play after high school? How many colleges have flag football as a sport? And have any girls been able to play in college from Illinois so far?
Yes, absolutely. So right now, the list is growing. Right now, there's approximately 30 institutions, mostly NAIA, but there is a Division III conference that has now adopted girls flag football, women's flag football. We did have 3 girls from the state of Illinois last year that received scholarships to play, so we have 3 girls currently on rosters. That number is growing. We have girls in this very room that have offers and plan to play. So that's always been part of the vision, right, is to create this opportunity, not only to the high school girls flag football, but really into an entry point for girls into the football ecosystem so that they can also pursue education through, the sport of football and really have access to everything that's great about football, education, coaching, officiating, being administrators. Now there's this opportunity to play in the Olympics. And really, it's endless. We just know that there's so many great things about football. Getting an education as part of it or as a vehicle to get an education mentioned is one of them. There is a school in Illinois, the first one, Rockford University, who is adopting women's flag football, and they've actually offered one of our girls here in this room. And that list is growing. So we want to create, a pathway really to everything, not just to high school, but that's just the entry point into what the future brings, and that's endless. And we hope that list grows and grows, because right now, primarily, most of those institutions are, Sun Belt, further south, warm weather states, but that list is growing. There is a school in Iowa, there's a school in Wisconsin, there's now a school in Illinois, and that list is going to grow more and more.
John Garcia with Channel 7. Gustavo, maybe you could address the idea of why it's important, in a natural, obviously, for the Bears to jump on board and be one of the leaders in terms of carrying the ball for this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's a no-brainer, right? So one of the primary goals of the Chicago Bears is to grow the game of football by making it inclusive, accessible, diverse, and equitable. So that means everybody. Girls flag football that's spot on, right? Because it's not just the gender equity, right? But if you look in the room, you look at the diversity, culture diversity, socioeconomical, geographic, that's all important. And like Mr. Warren talked about, everybody should have access to the great game of football and everything that the great game of football has to offer. So for us, Juliana talked about it. The comment that we hear the most from young ladies and women is, I wish they would have had this when I was in high school. And as I've shared before, that's haunting almost, because we didn't want another year to go by and have another group of girls graduating high school that didn't have that opportunity. So when we met, Juliana and I, Mickey Pruitt, met with Matt Troha from the IHSA, and he explained the process to us. And as he laid out the steps, we determined that 3 years was about as quickly as you could do it. We didn't even know if that was possible, but that was our goal, because we had a sense of urgency to open up that pathway and to create access for girls right now.
Hi, my name is Kyle Williams. Has there been a decision made on where the state finals will take place?
There has not been a decision. As typical with all of our state final locations, we'll prepare an RFP, request for proposal, have that submitted, available on our website, let folks, our member schools, Hallis Hall, and the facilities here, all will have a chance to bid on it. We'll go back and review those and talk about it, and then make a recommendation to our board of directors at a future time. It's going to be quick, obviously, with the turnaround and conducting a state series and a state final in the fall, but we're going to get on that right away.
For Juliana, overseeing and being a part of this process, when you got the news that this was going to be an official sanctioned sport, what emotions were you feeling in that moment?
I was jumping up and down. I felt like a little girl again. Knew that there's girls that have the opportunity to now play girls flag football and have the ability to say, we now belong, right? The opportunity to build our fan base as well for football has grown. I've seen and I received emails for so many male dads saying how their relationship with their daughter has improved tremendously, because now they're sitting with them on Sunday nights watching football. And to me, it's more than just football. It's everything that's around it. And to me, it truly means a lot. And this is something that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Hi, Juliana. I just have a quick question. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry. I knew you were looking. I was like, I'm here. Okay. I know you said you started in 2021 with 21 teams. Were all of those teams within Chicago? Were some of them outside of the city itself? And are most of the teams now kind of scattered around the state? And are you saying that Illinois is the first state to do this, or have other states already done it?
Yes, so we actually started the program with 21 schools and Chicago Public Schools. And then moving into year 2, Rockford and the Western Suburban League joined, and then moving into year 3, we actually had more than 100, and out of those 100, 60 of those were from the city of Chicago, and the rest were from the suburbs. And we, continue to grow. We are not the only state. I believe we are the 9th state that now has girls flag football. The goal is to definitely make it into an NFHS sport, which is the governing body for U.S., and we want to see this as the sport for just like all the others. But yes, that's how we completely grew, and in year 1 to year 3, and we're still growing, so very nice problem to have. Thank you.
One question. Go
ahead. Michael Tilka, WIFR in Rockford here. How do you see flag football fitting into the fall sports ecosystem? Obviously, high school boys football Friday nights, cross country Saturday mornings. Do you see this as, a 6 or 8 week Friday night football schedule, Saturday morning schedule? How do you think it all sort of fits in as the fall ecosystem there?
Yeah, a lot of the regular season scheduling, we leave up to our member schools, so they'll determine when their facilities are available, when it's the best time for them. We anticipate for our state series some weekday concern with officials making their way to be able to officiate our games. So we have kind of the preliminary rounds of our tournament, regional, sectional, to be kind of midweek games, Tuesday, Wednesday, to avoid weekend tackle football, for a number of reasons. But we'll culminate, if you looked at the dates, we're going to culminate on a weekend because we plan on bringing a number of teams to the state final to play out to a championship. So, but the regular season has been established by our membership. That was by vote. Practice season will start the same time all of our other fall sports, and the conclusion of our season actually ends the same time that our tackle football season ends. That's Thanksgiving weekend. But in between, there'll be a lot of flexibilities for schools to determine what their regular season will look like.
So Juliana and Gus Darcel from the Chicago Tribune. Quick question. I feel like since this is so historic, I've been following all along this process. I guess now that this is here, how are you guys going to kind of further make sure this equity and diversity kind of continues? Because, so it's not a one and done, you want to make sure, these young women are also not just getting the scholarships, but, pay equity, all this other stuff too that, we still keep enduring in the other workplaces and such. So how are you going to follow this through, I guess, and make sure that equity goes up throughout?
You go and then I go.
Well, I think, Craig mentioned a few things, right? So the work just really starts here, right? So we can kind of pat ourselves on the back for like 5 minutes and then it's back to work. There are over 100 schools that are currently playing girls flag football in the state of Illinois. And as Craig mentioned, there's over 800 schools in the state of Illinois. So to me, that's a huge opportunity, right? The growth has to continue. And, the Chicago Bears plan to continue to support girls flag football in the same way that we support boys tackle football and youth football. We just got to get to a point where there's some equity there. So it's kind of like girls flag football has been a priority because it's long overdue. So we're trying to get it there. We're also, having conversations with like local universities, so we spoke with Rockford University and encouraged them to start opportunities for girls and plan to meet with some other Division III schools throughout the state. So the work really continues. We want to continue to do that. And the other thing that we have to do is we have to continue to support youth football that now feeds these high schools. So we're kind of working in both directions. We're working toward the future, to college and opportunities beyond college, professional opportunities, but also working back to like youth football so that little girls now have the opportunity as well. So there's a lot of work to be done. So, but the plan is to just attack the work and support it and get girls flag football on par with boys tackle and youth football, which are again priorities because it's all about growth, it's all about access, it's all about inclusivity, opportunity, diversity, and equity for us.
And I just want to add, one of the things that we're also doing is our own coaches here are continuing to reinforce and build coaching clinics, right? And then our girls that are here, you're giving back to the community and coming out and helping us with the youth development as well. Chicago Public Schools, we're starting our second year with 7th and 8th grade girls flag football, and we know some of the coaches will be coaching and some of the girls will be coming out not only to help officiate, but also coach as well. So that's one of the things that we're doing. We're keeping it going.
Hi, Mason Schweitzer with the Kankakee Daily Journal. Kind of a two-parter. One, as you guys look to grow the sport kind of more downstate, smaller schools, there's no shortage of girls' fall sports already available, and girls are going to have to make those decisions. So how do you kind of start to grow a new sport in that regard? And also, while it is rare, some girls do play 11-man football now. Will they be kind of steered more towards this flag league, or will that kind of be up to schools maybe to decide on their own?
Yes. So with this, yes, it's definitely a tough decision, right? We've seen in some of the suburbs this year and even the city, a lot of girls that played, like for example, in the fall, they played volleyball, that they were multi-sport athletes, and the coaches were willing to work with them. The games were scheduled on Saturday in the evening. You know, they had this game. So we're willing to work and make sure that we work in partnership. We don't want to have the girls pick and make these tough decisions, but we're trying to make it inclusive for all, and we're just, trying to be a team sport here.
I'll just follow up with that. With our initial conversation with the IHSA, we asked for their input on, when would be the best time for girls flag football in the state of Illinois. Other states, for example, that have it sanctioned play in the spring. For Illinois and the way that our sports schedule is set up, it made the most sense for the fall. And as much as we want this opportunity for any student athlete that wants to play, we really wanted to provide an opportunity for girls that weren't playing any sport. And a high percentage of girls that came out for girls flag football didn't play any sport. And I hope that you guys take the opportunity to talk to some of those girls, some of the coaches and administrators, and they can tell you those one-on-one stories and how life-changing it's been for many girls. One of the girls that committed to playing college last year had never played a sport before girls flag football. By the end of her senior year, she was a 3-sport athlete. So those are the stories that we're looking for, and we're looking to make a difference one girl at a time. Each case that you're talking about is individual. Schools are different. The great thing about girls flag football is it's super inclusive in many ways, but financially it's very, very accessible because it's not an expensive sport. It's 7-on-7, so you only need, 10 to 15 girls to play, to build a squad, although many of our squads here are like upwards of like 30 to 40 girls because there's such a big interest. There's no shortage of girls that can benefit from this opportunity. And we're not trying to take girls out of other sports. We just want to create an opportunity for all so that they can make those choices of what's best for them.
Craig, an issue we see in women's sports specifically, Annie over here, when it comes to officiating is oftentimes officials use women's sports as kind of a stepping stone before, they progress to officiating at the men's level. So I'm curious how you guys are going to go about getting officials in this sport and preparing them essentially in the same way that you prepare them to officiate men's football.
Yeah. So it's our plan that girls flag football licensing will have its own licensure. So you can choose to be a tackle football official, or you could choose to be a girls flag football official, or you could choose to be both. Each will have its own licensure so that the training needs to be different because there's different rules for each. There's positioning that needs to be, while there's a lot of things that are similar, there are differences. So it's our intention to allow anyone to license in either sport. We currently have women that are officiating and have for years tackle football. So wherever the growth opportunities exist, we'll encourage both on the girls flag football side or the tackle side, or frankly, I think there's going to be a lot of overlap of current tackle football officials will see this as another opportunity where before they're only maybe working on the weekends of Thursday, Friday. Now there's some midweek opportunities to go and do flag football and give back to the same sport that they've been officiating for a lot of years. But we welcome the growth on either side. We're going to highlight, obviously, we celebrate when we bring officials deep into our state series, into our state championship, and they'll get all the same recognition that our tackle football officials would receive. So it's going to be its separate licensure, but it's football related, so we think there's some overlap.
What's the process of getting licensed?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked because we're always looking for more officials. And so this is a topic I talk about often. So licensing is a simple process. You can do it from our website. I should ask George McCaskey. He's actually a licensed official in baseball. You license from our website. There's a drop down, how to become a licensed official. You click on a link, you enter your information as a brand new official. We send you, once you give us your email and information, you go through a background check. And then we email you back with a login to our secured area called our Officials Center on our website. And that's the area that you would communicate with our office. You would go and take a rules exam. We'd mail the rules book to you, or that information. And it was asked earlier and mentioned about the NFHS. We have heard from the NFHS that they are in the process of adopting a national-wide rules book for flag football, so that's a positive. But to continue then, we're going to set up clinics, much like our current officials have to go and attend a clinic once every 3 years. The same will be true for our officials. We're going to mirror how we have done it with all of our other sports. So it's going to get the same exact attention. Yeah, thank you.
This one back here would be the last question.
Craig, you were talking about growth a little bit. How important do you feel sanctioning the sport like this is going to play a role in the growth and building the infrastructure, the youth leagues and all of that? And you've got about 100 schools now. Do you have a goal for a couple of years from now to where you'd like to be?
Well, my goal would be to at least double, and I think that's very easy. I mean, we already know that in 2025 we have 40 more, and I think this growth will continue to expand. This step, what we've done here today, will bring a level of expectation for our schools, and you can talk to some administrators in the room. When we take this step, it brings a level of expectation that coaches now need to be on a pay scale, they need to be paid, they need to be recognized on the same level of other sports with similar types of responsibilities. So us sanctioning it, of course, brings incredible recognition to the sport, which will then just bring more interest from other schools to adopt it. I anticipate, like right now, I think we have a lot of big schools that have adopted teams, but this will move into schools, and it was mentioned earlier, across the state of any size school, because there will be some overlap of athletes, even in the fall season. I think there will be some adjustments and recognition that this is something that girls can go do while they're also playing volleyball or while they're also running cross country. This is something that they can do if it's a passion of theirs to be a part of multiple sports in the same season. That's not unheard of. That's permitted within our rules. So I think that and the growth in our communities will in turn cause the youth leagues to expand their offerings currently to now offer girls flag football. There's a number of flag football opportunities right now for boys. I just see that being expanded into the girls' side also. Thanks.
Once again, we want to thank Gustavo, Juliana, and Craig for being here today and for their support for girls flag football. I want to thank all of you for being here today and supporting the sport and moving it forward.